Take a breath. First thing I want to invite you to do is take a breath, because we're going to talk about today how we can change every thought that's hurting us. We're going to study how we can change what? Every thought that hurts us, every belief that hurts us. Is that a worthwhile goal?
Yes.
Is that a worthwhile goal?
Yes.
Yeah. Because the truth is, and I know this is hard for many people to believe, but the truth is, the only thing that's hurting you is your own thoughts, or your own thoughts, or your own what? Thoughts. Your own thoughts, your own thoughts, your own thoughts. I know you think it's your mama, and you think it's your daddy, and you might think it's your mate, and you might think it's your boss, and you might think it's the people you work with, and you might think it's what's going on outside you in the world right now. But all those things, according to the Course in Miracles, do you know what all those things are? Those things are neutral things. Those things are neutral things. What does that mean? It means that nothing means anything until you give it meaning. Nothing means anything until you give it meaning. Nothing gives anything but the meaning that you give it. And so the Course in Miracles says that the first thing we need to do is to recognize that we don't have to believe the ideas I'm about to share with you today. You don't have to accept the ideas I'm about to share with you today. You don't even have to welcome the ideas that I'm about to share with you today. Some of these ideas may be hard to believe. Some of these ideas may be hard to believe. Some of these ideas may be hard to believe. Some of these ideas may be hard to believe. Some of these ideas may be hard to believe. And some of these ideas might startle you. But the Course in Miracles says you are not being asked to judge the ideas at all. Nobody's asking us to analyze the ideas. So guess what? After 45 years almost of teaching the Course in Miracles, the one thing that's become clear to me is analyzing the Course in Miracles will absolutely, I promise you, it will confuse you and it will destroy the meaning of the material. So if you think you're going to analyze it, break it down, figure it out, well, let me save you a whole lot of frustration. It will not work, because that's not the goal. The goal is, I'm about to commit suicide. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I want to get the way out. So then the Course in Miracles turns around and says, well, I'm going to tell you the way to change your mind to get out of what you're feeling right now. I'm going to tell you what to do. And if you don't analyze what I'm telling you, and you actually remember what I'm telling you, and then you use that belief, that thought, that attitude, I guarantee you, you're going to have peace. I guarantee you, the Course says, you are going to have peace. But it is not going to come from you trying to figure it out. So at the end of that statement of how to study the Course, which is at the beginning of the workbook lessons, then it says, it is the use of the ideas that will give the ideas meaning to you. I knew there was a catch. You mean I have to use it? Yeah, I'm afraid so. I'm afraid it's the use of the ideas that's going to give them meaning to you and show you that the ideas are true. It's the
Yes.
It's the use of the ideas that give the ideas. This is the beginning of the workbook. So that's the way that you study the Course in Miracles. And we're going to do lesson 284. But one more time, Spirit is telling me, I'm listening to the inner voice, and it's telling me to, again, emphasize that you must take this attitude if you're studying the Course, if you want it to work for you. You need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. What you say, Earl? Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. And others may seem to be quite startling. And some of the other ideas from the Course in Miracles, they seem to startle you. Don't forget, you are not asked to judge and analyze the ideas at all. Nobody's asking you to analyze the ideas. Their use will give the ideas meaning to you. Using the ideas will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. So I'd like for you to say this to yourself. Those of you in the audience and those of you watching online, I'd like for you to say this silently to yourself. Show me that the ideas are true. Spirit, show me that the ideas are true. Show me that the ideas are true. Spirit, God, love, Creator, show me that these ideas are true. All right, lesson 284. What page is that?
439.
439. We're going to be on page 439. 439 in the workbook of A Course in Miracles in the blue book. All right. I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt me. Loss isn't loss when properly perceived. When you see the loss correctly, you realize it isn't a loss. If you got a loss of a relationship and you're grieving that right now, you're not seeing it correctly yet. One day you're going to be so glad that relationship is gone, you're going to thank God, right? When you see loss correctly, you realize you didn't lose. You realize everything is for your own best interest. Everything is for your own best interest. Everything is for your own best interest according to the Course. Now, do you always feel that way? No. Okay. Then it says, pain is impossible. Pain is impossible. Tell me that pain is impossible. It looks like I go through pain. But pain is impossible. There is no grief with any cause at all, and suffering of any kind is nothing but a dream. Sure, right. Suffering of any kind is nothing but a dream. Now, guess what? This is the truth. But you may not necessarily believe it. You may not necessarily welcome it. You might not necessarily accept it. You may find this startling. Are you finding this hard to believe? That pain is impossible, any kind of suffering is nothing, and that loss is never lost when you correctly perceive it? Yeah, well, that's what the book said. You're going to find some of these ideas hard to believe and startling, and you're going to resist it. So if you're doing any of those things, you're a good Course in Miracles student. Because you're actually doing what the Course in Miracles said you were going to do. That some of the stuff you were going to find hard to believe, some of the stuff you would resist it, okay? And then what did it say? Don't analyze that. What in the heck are you talking about, Earl? Don't analyze it. What? Use the idea. Use what idea? I know you think you might have gone through a loss and what happened in that situation, but loss would not be lost if I saw it correctly. I know that I may think I got a backache, but I need to tell myself pain is actually impossible to who you really are. Pain is impossible to who you really are. Pain is impossible to who you really are. And pain is not impossible to the part of you that thinks you are a human being body. The part of us that thinks it's a human being body, it will look like pain is possible. Now, do you think you're a human being body? Does it seem like you're a human being body? Well, then it'll look like pain is possible to you. Are you an unlimited being created by spirit that is all encompassing, that's more than the physical body? Then for you, pain is impossible. So that's the truth. Okay, then now notice the next thing that the Course is going to say is, at first to be but said. So the first thing you do is you just tell the truth. You just say it. You say it whether you believe it or not. You say it whether you accept it or not. You say it whether you welcome it or not. You say it even if you don't believe it. You say it even if it feels startling. You do what? Say it. Now, how many of you can say something you don't believe? Raise your hand. Okay. So what is the Course saying we need to do at first? Say it. You are innocent. I say it. I am innocent. I say it. You see what I mean? The Course is saying, look, I'm just asking you to say it. Is that what the word says? It says, at first, to be but say it. Now, after you say it, what do you do next?
Repeat it.
Repeat it. How many times? Many times. Many times. Many times. So let me go through each step. Step one, first you say it. Then he says it's to be repeated many times. And then what happens after you repeat it many times? He says next to be accepted as but partly true, right? The Course says I'm responsible for how I see things. Okay, well, I'm willing to admit I'm responsible for how I see some things, but I'm not yet quite to the point that I believe I'm responsible for how I see everything. Right? There's some cases, there's some people I want to forgive, so I'm going to apply the truth to them. There's some people I don't want to forgive, so I'm not going to apply that to them. So the truth is, I'm responsible for how I see things. And how I see things determine how I feel about things. So my feelings are coming from how I see things. So at first that makes sense, but I believe some of my feelings are happening because I just can't help it. The truth is, I believe that I'm responsible for how I feel when it comes to some things. And some things I believe you made me mad. You upset me, right? So the Course says, you repeat it, it's next to be accepted as but partly true, but I'm not talking about restaurant reservations, but it's going to be many reservations. Okay, all right, this book is saying I'm the one that's responsible for how I'm feeling about what happened to me in my childhood. Okay, I'm responsible for how I feel about what happened to me in my childhood. So then I'm repeating it, but I believe I believe a little bit about that's true, but I have a lot of reservations about that though, right? And then what do you do next? He says, then you consider it. Well, maybe I am kind of responsible for how I'm feeling about what happened with my childhood. And I'll consider this seriously more and more. I might be this unlimited, loving, spiritual being. He says, but I'm going to still keep saying it and considering that the Course in Miracles might be true. And then I'm going to finally accept it as the truth. And so I'm going to keep hammering this in for the next hour. Because the Course in Miracles says what produces the miracle is the remembering of the truth. So if I can remember this and apply this to whatever comes to my mind, then I'm doing what the Course in Miracles is saying. And then it says, what's the truth? The truth is, what's that next line? I can elect. Stop right there. I can elect to do what? Change. What? I can elect to change. What? Oh, did it say some thoughts? No. Say, I can elect to change all thoughts that what? Hurt. Or all thoughts that make me afraid. Or I can change all thoughts that make me believe in lack. I can change all thoughts that make me believe in guilt. I can elect to change all thoughts that make me think I'm in a divided country where people hate each other and they're at each other's throats right now. I can elect to change the thought that as a black man in America, things can't work for me. I can elect to change the thought that I can't be abundant and wealthy. I can elect to change the thought that I could never be loved and have a relationship that's beautiful that it could work. I can elect to change every thought that tells me I have to experience pain and suffering in my body. I can elect to change every thought that does what? Hurts. Okay, then it says that's the truth. Now, I might not believe it, but it's the truth. So what should I do? I should say it. I should say it. So step one, first I say, at first we must say the words. We don't believe them yet. We just say it. That's why I love to have people in the class and watching my class that are willing to do what the course says to study the course, because it's easier to work with people who follow the directions that the course gives. It's hard as hell to teach people who are trying to learn the course according to how they learn to do things in the world and with other teachings, because they try to bring their old learning into the way you learn the course, and then it makes no sense to them whatsoever. But why is the course not making any sense to me? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to judge it. I'm trying to analyze it. But it's already said don't do that. What is it saying? Well, the first thing I need to do is say the truth, and then I can elect all thoughts that hurt. That's an example. Or you could say another workbook lesson, for instance, what would be, I am not a victim of the world I see. Or you could say, I'm not a victim of the world I see. Got it? I'm not a victim of the world I see. See? A lot of times you can change the meaning of A Course in Miracles just by the way, the intonations that you use. It took me a while to get that. And after almost 45 years of studying and teaching the Course in Miracles, I'm beginning to think in some ways I'm a slow learner.
Really?
Yeah. As I've said often, my family goes, are you still studying that book? When you gonna finish? They do not understand though.
No.
You know, the longer I study A Course in Miracles, the easier my life gets, the better my relationships get, the more peace that I have, the more people leave me alone other than being loving and kind to me. The longer I study the course, the more my life flows. I, went through surgery a few weeks ago and have had a miraculous healing in ways beyond my wildest imagination, have had healings with my family in ways that I never would imagine, with my children like I never would imagine, saw my friends and the people that watched my classes come through in ways I would have never imagined as far as love and support. I saw all the principles that the Course taught me about sickness be validated. And I also saw myself try to defend against all of that, like it said, and would still try to do some crazy stuff or see things in a way that would cause me pain. I watched every single thing that this book teaches me happen during what was supposed to be a really challenging situation. Now, is it possible that it could happen again as long as I'm in the body? Exactly, it could happen again. But what should I do if it happens again or in another form? The exact same thing. So I don't have to wonder about how I would handle a situation similar if it came up again. I know that I would handle it as best I could, exactly the way I handled it before. Whether I kept saying the truth to myself, I kept repeating the lessons over and over again, no matter whether I was in pain or whether I felt peace, I just did what I was told. regardless of whether I believed it or not. And anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. So then it said, pain is impossible, right? So he says, just say them. I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. I am not a victim of the world I see. Pain is impossible. So at first, the words feel what?
Weird.
The words feel weird. It feels strange to say that. And maybe even fake.
Yeah.
Right? But have you ever been fake before?
Oh, yeah.
Well, then we can pull our feet. So, of course, Spirit would create a path for me that I could be fake. And it would work to my advantage. Because, of course, in Miracles teaches whatever you've made, whatever thoughts you've made, whatever beliefs you've made, whatever habits you've made, Spirit can use it to free you. So whatever habits you have could be used to free you. So every new truth, so you're saying you want to learn a new truth, right? Then the Course says every new truth starts with a new language. It starts with you speaking to each other in a new way. It starts with you talking to each other in a new way. New truth equals new language. New truth equals new language. So I can't keep talking negative and fearful and from the perspective of being a victim and thinking that what the world has taught me is true, that I'm guilty, sinful, bad, broken in two by periods in which I seem like a nice person. Okay, so the Course is saying that's the old language. If I'm walking around complaining about what's going on in the outer world right now, that's not new language. That's old language. So the Course says to us, we say the new language so that we can plant a new seed in our minds. So I want to be a gardener of truth. And I want to plant these seeds of truth in my mind, and then I want to nurture these truths by what? Saying it, repeating it, considering it more and more, and partially believing it until I finally really believe it. That's how you water the seeds of truth that you planted in your mind. And I'm not going to purposely seek out people who are going to talk like regular people always talk. But when I am around regular people who talk like regular people always talk, I'm going to use everything they say to remind me to tell myself the truth. I'll say this again. When I'm around people, I take everything they're saying that's not a reflection of what the Course is teaching me to remind me to repeat to myself my workbook lesson or something that the Course in Miracles is teaching me. What I do not do, according to the Course, as best I can, is not try to fix them or correct them. So I could disagree with you and you would never know it. I could look at things totally opposite to what you're telling me. You will never know it. Because the Course, my spiritual path told me it's only my own ego, my own wrong-mindedness that would try to fix and correct and point out somebody else's mistakes to them. My God, that's startling. That's hard to believe. So how do I know when I'm around a person that's very unconscious? They're constantly correcting everything I say.
Yeah.
If I'm around you and I'm talking to you and every 5 seconds you're telling me another way I should look at what I'm saying, I know you're asleep. So what do? Tell myself my workbook lesson from the Course for the day. Notice I go, I didn't even deal with you at all. I took your ego to remind me to practice the truth. But I ain't saying nothing to you. Because it really doesn't matter what you're doing. You're correcting me really doesn't matter. As long as I tell myself the truth. Okay. So that's why after the class, I always take and give people the option of taking at least 20 minutes for us to answer questions, discuss what I'm saying. Because I love having an opportunity to clarify things that you may be wondering about. But I want to use the class time itself to introduce as much of the new language and the new ideas as possible. So sometimes people, well, you don't give people a chance to ask a lot of questions. I know they're distracting. Because that's not the purpose. The purpose of it is not to figure it out. The purpose is to hear the new ideas that we need to repeat, that we need to say, and then later on, take an opportunity to talk about what it is we need to see differently, or what questions we might have. Because I'm trying to teach the Course in Miracles the way the Course in Miracles says it should be learned, and not the way we've been taught it should be learned. So every new truth starts as a new language, and we say it to plant a seed in the mind. So at this stage, we don't judge ourselves for not believing it. Do not judge yourself for not believing this. Don't judge yourself for not always believing these new ideas that you're hearing. Stop judging yourself for not already believing what you don't already believe. So what do? We just start saying the words of truth out loud, and the words begin to loosen the chains of our false beliefs. So if you want to get rid of your false beliefs, you start to say the words of the new language. And so at this stage, we don't judge ourselves for not believing it. We just start saying the words of truth out loud. And then the words begin to loosen our false ideas. So what do? You say the new ideas often. So that's why I am the divine repetition teacher. That's what I call myself, the divine repetition teacher. Because the more you say it, the more your mind starts to listen. The more you say it, the more your mind starts to listen. So what are most people saying all the time? They're saying some form of two things. I am a victim of what's going on right now, and everybody else needs to change in order for me to be happy. Would you agree? We can almost always reduce everything down to those two things. You need to change for me to be happy. If you spoke or acted differently, I'd be happy. We recognize that? As soon as the weather changes, I'll be happy. When I get a brand new car, I'll be happy. When I lose 10 pounds, I will be happy. When the world changes, I'll be happy. So that's saying I'm a victim of everything. When everything out there shifts, then I'll shift. So how do I get rid of that belief? I need to tell myself, well, I can choose to change all the thoughts that's hurting me right now. I can choose to change the way that I'm feeling right now by changing the way that I think right now. Say it often, say it often, say it often. That's step one. Step one. Now, and I'll open this up for a couple of minutes. Any questions about what I've covered so far? Online, in person. That reminds me. That's right. Let me get y'all up online so I can see ya. Because I appreciate you taking the time to watch live.
Is there a lag?
Huh?
Is there a lag or?
Yeah, there's a lag.
A little lag.
Well, which would make sense. Why would I be shocked that there'd be a little lag? That's what we do. We lag. All right, all of you people online, it's wonderful that you're there. Hey, Vanessa. Hey, Shirley. All of y'all watching. Okay, it's a trip. Thank you for all the increase in viewership online that I have been experiencing. It's like just last month, in some areas of my viewership, it was up 200%. Would you believe that? It's been blowing my mind. I've been looking at the stats, and it's like, like 1,000 visits to my website in the last week. And you could really tell it by how many people are here. But you know who's here? The perfect people. That's the only people that's around me. It's the perfect people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Earl, you try to open it up there for a second. I'll make a comment.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What came to my mind is somewhere in the Bible, I think in the book of Matthew,
Mm-hmm.
"Not you as you believe." A quote of Jesus.
According to your belief.
Yeah, it's not you according to how you believe or
Mm-hmm.
as you believe.
Mm-hmm.
And But this is an interesting approach because it tells you, well, you're starting pretty far away from believing,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how you get to believing, which fills in quite
And it's easier. It's much easier for me to try to remember something that's already before me, teaching me, than me to try to figure out the unknown that I don't understand. But that's what people would prefer. So then let's go to the next step. Then I repeat the ideas. Repetition is how the mind learns. Repetition is how the mind learns. The ego, the us that's been programmed by the world, the ego got programmed through repetition. You're stupid. You'll never be enough. You know that, right? You're just never smart enough. You know, people are responding to the repetition that they received when they were children and they were growing up. You know, it's the repetition that's the problem. It's what are you repeating? Well, I'll repeat to you that you'll never be successful. And I'll repeat it so many times that you will believe you will never be successful. And then you will start repeating you will never be successful to yourself. I don't even have to be around after a while. I'll tell myself the negative thoughts without your help, thank you. Right? And so what do? You repeat it, and then you partially believe it, and then you keep telling yourself you're not enough. Then what happens? You finally accept it as the truth. You do the same stages, even when you're telling yourself false things, you go through the same stages as when you're telling yourself the truth thing. First, my parents said it, if that was the case. Then it was repeated all through my childhood. I started to hear it and consider it more and more. Maybe that's true. Then I finally accept I'm not enough. And then just what happens after you accept the truth, then you perceive it, and then you experience that you're not enough. And then you start to attract relationships that reflect back to you that you're not enough. And then you're wondering where those relationships come from. They're coming from the thoughts you have that hurt you, that you continue to elect. And notice the term is elect. It's almost like voting. So the Course then says, I love this, it says, when you repeat the truth often enough, that ego got programmed through repetition, and so does the spirit in you gets programmed through repetition. So when you repeat the truth often enough, you start to feel the first tremors of recognition. So you might not believe it yet, but it begins to sound possible. That was one of the things I was experiencing in my body's recovery. It was so many people that contacted me, that were supportive to me, that were trying to be helpful to me, that any part of me that thought I didn't deserve it, I began to question it. It's like, wait a minute, this many people responded to me in a loving way. My daughter stayed with me for 2 weeks. And she was stunned to see the love and support that I received from people. And I was too. See, it's one thing to say something, it's another thing to back it up with action. And sometimes as a truth student, I will admit, I've been great at talking it, because that's what you do at first, you say it. But I wasn't really doing anything with saying it. It wasn't like I was going, what action could I do that would actually benefit this person? And sometimes the action is simply you saying it, and you simply thinking it, and you simply not doing any more than you feel like you want to do. Because if you do anything for somebody that you don't want to do, the Course teaches that's just sacrifice, and then you'll resent them, and you'll resent it, or you'll be tempted to feel guilty about what you did or did not do. And the key is to depend on God, to depend on higher power. Higher power is what's going to sustain and take care of you. Higher power may do it through people and through situations and through circumstances. But what's so powerful about the higher power is if it can't come through you, it'll come through who it can come through. So it's not like you're not going to receive love if the person that you want it to come through is not giving it to you. What's going to happen is Spirit's going to send you that love through somebody else. But are you so addicted to the person that's not giving it to you that you're missing the love that's trying to get to you through the people that will give it to you? because I've already decided you're supposed to be the one that gives it to me. So spirit doesn't care about the form, it cares about content. So you might not believe it yet, but it starts to sound possible. So you begin to notice moments when a painful thought comes up, and then you remember, wait a minute, I can elect to change this. And haven't you ever caught yourself, I'm beginning to get upset, wait a minute, I can change this. So that's how healing begins. Okay, that's how it begins. Now, you could be applying this to some situation or circumstance or person in your life right now. If you're sitting up here and you don't think there's any area that you can practice this right now, I'm going to say a judgment, which is you're deceiving yourself. There's some area where you could give yourself the truth, or you wouldn't be here. I'm sorry. If you were that enlightened, you wouldn't be here. You're around people just like you. I'm around people just like me, so we can learn together. So I don't care if you tell me you're enlightened. Am I seeing you? Then you're no more enlightened than I am. I'm sorry. You can make yourself think you got it more together, but that doesn't matter. But you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do when I'm around somebody that's saying that because they're so cute and innocent, but they don't know it? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say nothing. Because it doesn't matter what I believe about them. The only thing that matters is what they believe about themselves. So, I don't treat people like their opinions really matter. And that's not an insult. In the end, I'm open to hearing what you have to say to me, and I do want to take what you have to say to me in consideration. But in the end, I've got to follow what my gut tells me, what my intuition tells me. So don't put anything you hear me say or anything you hear the Course says or anything else above the truth of your own being. Okay? That's how you keep from getting trapped. In the end, you do what you feel that's peaceful in your heart for you to do. So then the next step is 3. Then I accept the new idea with reservation. Now, this is where honesty comes in. We start to believe the truth sometimes, but when truth gets tough, what is the thing that happens when the truth gets tough? When the truth gets tough, our old beliefs come back. Like sometimes when things get really challenging, if you notice on the spiritual path, you'll say stuff like, okay, now I got to handle this. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to do the old beliefs. Well, what's the old belief? I'm going to come up with who or what needs to change in order for me to be okay, and I'm going to set about trying to change who or what that is. So the Course is telling us that your ego is going to always tell you, the truth is going to always tell you that the Course doesn't condemn you for still coming out of your ego and your anger and your misperceptions. I say it again. Holy Spirit, your higher power, is not condemning you for still falling back into your old habits. As a matter of fact, your higher self expects you to still fall back sometimes into your old habits, because if you didn't, you would need to have the higher power teaching you in the first place. So when you're growing spiritually, you don't get upset with yourself about getting upset. You don't get angry with yourself about getting angry. So you'll have all your feelings, but you'll stop condemning yourself for them, because you know you're learning. So sometimes you still are going to want to dominate other people, have scripts for them, and want them to do what you want them to do in order to be happy. Sometimes you're going to be honest, sometimes you're going to be dishonest, sometimes you're going to feel secure, sometimes you're going to feel insecure, sometimes you're going to feel jealous. In other words, you're trying to learn how to let go of these blocks, so you don't condemn yourself for still having the blocks you're trying to let go of. So that would be forgiveness of yourself. Forgiveness of yourself is not that you are not making any errors in your perception anymore. Forgiveness of yourself is you not condemning yourself for the errors that you still make. Wait a minute. Oh my God. I'll see if I can remember. Because most of the time I don't even know what I'm saying. Forgiving yourself is you not condemning yourself for still having some of the habits and making some of the mistakes you made in the past while you're learning. So if I get mad, I don't condemn myself for being mad. If I don't like somebody, I'll admit to myself, right now I don't like that person, but I want to let go of the blocks that keep me from feeling peace all the time and love all the time. So I use that feeling to remind me of the truth. I like to say, I'll use my ego to remind me of God. I'll use my ego to remind me to say my workbook lesson. Not correct you, but to say my workbook lesson. I'm talking to my cousin, I'm making myself upset, and instead of trying to correct my cousin, what am I going to do? I'm going to say, I could elect to change the thoughts I'm having about what my cousin is saying right now. I could change my mind about how I'm letting what my cousin says affect me right now. That's where my mind is going. Not on trying to change my cousin at all. It used to be just the opposite. Well, how can I get my point across to my cousin and make sure my cousin sees me correctly and my cousin agrees with what I'm saying? It's like, that's the hard way. I'm too lazy for that. That's too much work. That's much too much work. So then it says, that's your ego whispering to you. Like, you may think I can change my thoughts about small stuff, but not this big betrayal that this person did. They cheated on me. I can change my mind about the small stuff, but I can't change my thoughts about how I'm feeling about them going to bed with somebody behind my back. That's a big betrayal. Not the small stuff, not this illness, but there's some big stuff that I can't let go of. So that's just your ego whispering, some pain is special. I walked in on my boyfriend with my best friend. That's special pain. I can't change the thoughts that's hurting me about that. Okay, that's why you don't start off with your biggest betrayal trying to practice the truth on that first. You work up to the big stuff. If you were molested as a child, you don't take these principles and try to get the result of that first. You work up to it, handling somebody stealing your hubcaps. You start there. Yeah, you can choose the big stuff, but if you choose the big stuff, I'm going to tell you how to handle it. If you choose the big stuff, you say it without believing it at first. That's how you handle the big stuff. You say, I can choose to elect to change my thoughts about molestation, but at first I'm not going to believe it. You got it? So you can apply the truth to the big stuff, but you also have to give yourself peace about not having a fully changed mind about it at first. But if you give yourself the little micro victories, then it works up to the bigger stuff. So you start, because let's face it, most of us are not dealing with life-threatening calamities all day. Most things we get upset about are not big deals, if we be honest. It's really not. Very few of us have life or death situations that we're dealing with every day. So most of the stuff that we get upset about ain't about nothing real, really. It really isn't. So what do? The Holy Spirit says there's no order of difficulty in miracles. That means we're experiencing the same dream. We're all experiencing the same illusion. And what is the illusion? That we're separate from each other and that we're different from each other. Every one of you are experiencing the results of your thoughts, and I'm experiencing the results of my thoughts. And everybody is all over the world. That's what everybody in the world is experiencing right now is the result of their own thinking. Everyone in the world on earth. In this moment, whatever they're feeling is coming from their thoughts. We are the same. We are not different. So if you can change your thought about a parking ticket, you can change your thought about a heartbreak. Because one day, if someone chooses out of a relationship with you because you've learned as much as you can from each other at the time, you will bless them and release them, and you will feel gratitude about what you learned together. And you will hope and pray that they meet someone that they experience joy with now, and you do the same thing. That's what you're going to do when you stop using thoughts that hurt you. Because you realize the relationship would not be ending after you've done everything you could do. It wouldn't be ending unless it was for your own best interest, whether you feel like it or not. Okay, so if you can change your thoughts about a parking ticket, you can change your thoughts about a heartbreak. So it's not about difficulty. It's not about how hard it would be. It's about how willing are you. So this stage is where we learn trust and patience. So we're going to practice gentle persistence instead of practicing judging ourselves. I'm going to keep trying this rather than judge myself. And that takes us to step 4. And I'm going to cover all these steps before we finish. Why? Because I want you to be able to go to this class and hear over and over again the 5 steps. All right, I'm much more interested in being a teacher than a preacher, and I'm much more interested in having people who want to be students like I'm a student, and we can learn the course together. I want devoted students. I want students who want to learn the course, miracles, and they would love to learn it through me. That's what I'd like. All right? Okay, thank you, James. I appreciate that. And how long should they learn it through me? As long as they want to. And if they feel like they've learned as much as they can, and you can tell when a person thinks they've learned as much as they can, generally what they start doing is judging you. So then they become the people sitting in the audience that's criticizing whatever they think you're saying or doing. And you don't need to come listen to a person that all you do is criticize and judge how they are as your teacher. So don't be that cruel. But guess what? How is it impacting me? None. Because you know why? My joy is in teaching. My joy is in standing up here letting these words come through my body. And that's what you should do. What you enjoy coming through your body. It's too loving. I need to call some people, some sinners that's going to hell so I can have a full house. Okay. So what do you do next? Step 4. Then you consider the idea or the new truth or the new belief more seriously. Now we're moving into deeper practice. Now we are beginning to try to do the miraculous thing. What is the miraculous thing? Applying the truth that we're learning to every relationship and every situation. You start asking yourself, what would this look like that I'm going through? What it would look like if I remember that pain is really impossible for my real self? I know I'm going through this situation right now, this circumstance right now. What would it look like if I believed pain was impossible for me? Jealousy is impossible for me. Fear is impossible for me. Sickness is impossible for me. Lack is impossible for me. What if I really elected peace instead of this grievance that I'm feeling right now? What if I really chose peace instead of this grievance I'm feeling right now? At this point, you might still feel resistance. So now you have to let the Holy Spirit's voice get louder. You have to let the truth get louder. You have to let the truth get louder. What does it mean to let the truth get louder? Because when you want to practice, I can elect to change this thought, that's the truth getting louder. And when you let the truth get louder, that's when the transformation happens. That's when the change happens. And guess what? You start catching your own ego in this act. You become a stalker of your own wrong-mindedness. That's what you'll find yourself doing. You'll find yourself going, oh my God, I know this thought that I want to attack them right now is coming straight from my ego. I know that this thought that I'm having about judgment is coming straight from my ego. And so at that point, when you know it's your ego upsetting you, and you know it's the other person's ego upsetting them, then you stop taking the pain personally. You stop taking stuff personally because you realize that everybody's just acting from their programming that they've learned, that they've repeated all their life. That you're never really dealing with the person, you're dealing with their programming. That's why I don't talk to the ego like I used to, because it's not the person in the first place. Anybody that gets bored when they hear the truth, that's not you getting bored when I'm talking. It's your ego that's going to sleep. It's your ego that's fading out. Because I'm not saying anything the ego, the part of you that wants to crucify you, wants to hear. Nothing that I'm saying appeals to the part of you that thinks you deserve to suffer. And all of us have that part of us, or we wouldn't be here. So for me to be up here and not expecting some people in the audience or some people that listening to go unconscious, that's me totally ignoring the course, which taught me that's how people are going to react to what you're saying from time to time. They are going to go out. It flat out told me, you're going to put some folk to sleep, dude.
You're doing a good job.
Oh, hey, I'm the best thing for insomnia that's ever been created.
Amen.
Yeah. You can literally be going, you know that. If you ever tried to read the book, you know that. You can be wide awake, start trying to read, and before you know it, you're gone. That's because there's a part of you that knows this truth will free you and give you love and health and healing and friendships and joy and fun. All the things a part of you does not believe you deserve. So, take a breath with me, please. So what happens after you stop taking your pain and upset personally? What happens when I stop taking what people do personally? Then you begin to see glimpses of real peace. That's when you start, and I'm going to give you a great definition of peace. A great definition of peace is total fulfillment. The Course in Miracles definition of peace is not sitting in a cave contemplating your neighbor, even though that's great. Peace is, I'm in this relationship and I'm giving myself total fulfillment. I'm on this job today and I feel total fulfillment. I feel fulfillment in my life right now. That's peace. I was at a birthday gathering last night, and it was so much love and peace and joy among the peace that was there, people that were there, that I felt the total fulfillment in myself and the total fulfillment in them. So think of peace as total fulfillment is more exciting. Right? So I could feel peace even when I was. The fact that I could do that after surgery. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You can't stop a boogie down. You know, sometimes you have to boogie. You know what I mean? So, last stage. We're going to finish this on time. Sometimes when you're teaching, you want to do what Cher did in that movie Moonstruck. Snap out of it. Snap out of it. Oh, God. Who am I doing that to?
Yourself.
To myself. To myself. I need to stay awake. I need to stay conscious. I need to not go to sleep. You see what I mean? So the Course says, as you begin to glimpse real peace, not because the world changed, but you're beginning to glimpse real peace because you changed. You're not feeling peace because your partner changed. You're feeling peace because you, see, I feel peace because I have changed. See, that's why I'm feeling more peace. Not because anybody around me changed. I changed. So the Course says that leads you up to step 5, which is what? Finally accepting the new truth or the new belief completely. This is the stage of acceptance, okay? And in the stage of acceptance, that's what the Course calls true perception. True perception is when I finally accepted the new truth. And at this point, the truth is no longer just words. The truth is an experience. See, everything that I'm telling you are not words. Everything that I'm telling you is what I experienced. I experience kindness. I experience love. I experience peace. I experience safety. I experience telling myself that I could elect to change the thoughts that came up. I'm talking from my experience. I'm not talking intellectually. I'm not talking abstractly. I'm talking from my experience. And no one can argue with my experience. And I can't argue with anybody else's experience. Right? So the truth is, how do I make you aware of the experience of love that I experienced? Through the way that I treat you, through the way that I behave with everybody else in my life. That's how I convey to you the experience of love and healing that I had, not through words, but through my actions and my behavior. So the Course in Miracles is saying, this is true perception. So at this point, truth is no longer words, it's an experience. You don't have to remind yourself anymore. See, when I get ready to drive today, when I finish with the class, I don't have to remind myself that I can drive.
Oh.
Because now it's my truth. Now it's an experience. So I just go get in the car and drive away. The stuff that I don't believe yet is stuff that I need to keep repeating to myself over and over and over again. So if I'm angry and I'm broke, I need to repeat to myself all the time that abundance is my natural state, that I am sustained by the love of God. You follow what I'm saying? If you haven't accepted something yet, you need to repeat it to yourself. I can have loving relationships where I'm recognized as worthwhile and valuable. But the ones that I've accepted that is true, I just enter relationships that are worthwhile and valuable. And I attract people to me who see me as worthwhile and valuable. How do I know the person that I shouldn't be with is the person I need to seduce? Because anybody that's supposed to be my friend or my partner is going to be somebody that finds me irresistible. They darn near have to be restrained not to get to me. But you know who my ego, my wrong mind would direct me toward? Who? I bet you know. Who? Somebody that doesn't want me.
Yeah.
I guarantee you your ego is going to always make you want the person who's not someone you're giving yourself peace through, to convince yourself that you are not enough or you are not worthy, if that was what you were taught. So then you go, the truth is an experience. You don't have to remind yourself anymore. You know that pain is a choice, and you know that peace is your inheritance. And guess what? You look at the world, the same world, but all of a sudden you're seeing innocence instead of guilt. You're looking at the same world, and you're looking at others, and you're saying, that's just another aspect of myself. I see each one of you as an aspect of me. Do I believe that yet? No. No, I don't believe that yet. Because at the point I really believe you were me, you know what would happen?
Disappear.
No, that too. And what would happen was I would be just as concerned about your welfare as I am about mine. And as long as you and I don't care whether you eat as much as I eat, we don't think we are one. Because, and so what do? We repeat it, right? We say it. Yeah, we are one. We are connected. We are joined. And we keep saying it. We keep saying it. And until we cannot believe it. And then we seriously consider we're one more and more until we what? Finally accept it as true. And then what happens? When I finally accept it as true, I see you as me, but I see you as me going through your own individual spiritual lessons. Okay? So therefore, it doesn't mean necessarily I got to make sure you eat tonight as much as I eat tonight, as long as I understand that those who I am to feed, I would be told by the Holy Spirit to feed them, and I would do it without feeling any sense of sacrifice. Wow. So you can know the truth and not necessarily perceive it. I can know we're one, but we can look like we're separate. So knowledge and perception are not the same thing. We right at the end. So what can we say again? The truth is inevitable. So this is a classroom, and in this classroom, we're just practicing remembering. So don't rush it, don't rush it, don't rush it, don't rush it. The truth is inevitable, and when you delay your peace, you can delay your peace, you can delay your happiness, you can delay your happiness, you can delay your abundance, but it is inevitable. You cannot avoid your happiness forever. Thank you. Thank you. I thought that was good news. I thought that was good news. You cannot avoid the right relationships for you forever. You can't avoid success at a level that moves you forever. You can't avoid being appreciated forever. You can't avoid being safe at all times forever. So say it again. I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. Would you say that? I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. It's about repeating it. It's about repeating it. It's about repeating it. Take a breath. Take another breath. Take another breath. Take another breath. I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. I can elect to change all thoughts that repetition. I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. You can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. You can elect to change all thoughts. Now, anybody that don't mind saying it silently or aloud, we're trying to do what the freaking book is saying, which is repeat it, 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 repeat what? Repeat what? I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. Say what? I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. Say what? I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. We can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. We can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. Would you acknowledge yourself for even showing up, for even coming in the room, for even watching online? Because the world's going to give you what you give yourself. You give yourself acknowledgement, you will draw acknowledgement to yourself. Woo! I needed that today. I needed that today. Those of you who would like to make a financial expression of appreciation as a full-time student of the course, teacher of the course, I really, really appreciate that. Let me pass that around, Harlan. On November 15, 2025, for people who are members of my website, I'm doing a 3-hour workshop on prosperity and abundance from the course. And so I got a special going right now as I get the membership together of $97 one-time membership, lifetime membership. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, go to my website, earlpurdy.com. Earl Purdy, www.earlpurdy.com. If you'd like to have a lifetime membership, one-time payment, which I call one-time investment, and then you can also take part in the 3-hour workshop that I'm going to do online. I got some special surprises and things I want to do. I want to tune into what I call the mighty companions. And I want to see everything that I'm doing be called the temple of connection. That's what I want. I want the spiritual family, the tribe that wants us to join in miracles. It's time to let go of all the separation. That's why I still do in-person online classes, so that people can come together physically in each other's presence. Because the world as we know it, and you can mark my words, the world as we know it is going to cease to exist in the form that it is in over the next 2 years. As an astrologer and a numerologist, as well as a course teacher, I'm trying to tell people that we are now kicked into the Aquarian age, and so many ways that we do things are not going to be acceptable anymore. It is time for us to care and to join with each other at a brand new level. And I'm more interested in reaching the heart right now than the mind. We need to love each other. We need to love each other. We need to unite with each other in peace and love. And that's going to be my focus, is love. It's going to be, so you have an opportunity, give it an opportunity. You want to join the Mighty Companions. Go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and sign up for a lifetime membership. Also, I'm available for astrological and numerological sessions so that you can get in touch with what the hell is going on right now and how you personally can have more peace and joy and have those situations and circumstances healed. There is guidance that's available in a variety of ways. The course that reaches us through everything. So if you're ready to judge astrology, I don't care. All right. You are going to be reached through spirit, through whatever you're open to. And that's how that works. That's how that works. But don't say spirit is not giving you a way out of whatever you're going through right now, that you're electing pain or unhappiness. You are not so special. There's no answer to what you're going through. It's your ego telling you that. And one way might be to have a session with me, a clarity session or an astrological, numerological session. Might be. It may not be an accident you're hearing this. So go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and you can self-book a session right there. And I'd love to talk to you. Love to talk to you. And you can watch my classes on YouTube and Facebook and on my website. I'm so excited about what's going on. If you'd like to make a donation, you can use Venmo, the Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, Square. You just need my email address, earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com, earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. I'm so glad to be of service. That's why I'm here. I deserve abundance just as much as you do. I deserved abundance just as much as you do. I'm not an adherent to your spiritual if you're broke and you don't allow yourself to experience any levels of prosperity. Like, that's the definition of a spiritual person, is they don't let themselves have any level of material or prosperity or abundance. That's the old paradigm, that's the old thought, and I don't adhere to it at all. I deserve to receive, you deserve to receive, we all deserve to receive. Because same thing about if you're an artist or a musician or you do some type of healing work, do not adhere to that idea that it's not okay for you to have abundance, or you have to be the artist in poverty, or the musician in poverty, or the actor, or whatever. All those occupations that people want to express themselves in, that the world tries to program that you can't allow yourself to experience prosperity through, those are thoughts that hurt. So you need to choose to change those thoughts that hurt. Whatever you're doing that inspires you, whatever you're doing that turns you on, whatever you're doing that you really feel fulfilled when you're doing it, that is your spiritual function. That is what you're supposed to be doing. So, mighty companion, I appreciate you all so much that I can't even put it into words. You're such a value to me. So let's take 1 minute. Can you give it 1 minute? I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt without we. We can elect to change. Now notice I'm doing this. Notice I'm not just saying it, I'm just read it. You notice that I'm doing it. That's gonna have to be true about you too. You're gonna have to do something physical to show you have some faith in what you're saying. And that's the mistake many of my brothers and sisters make. We listen to lectures, we listen to talks, but then we do exactly the way we've always done. And you're innocent if you do that. Spirit's gonna love you whether you do any of it. But now you know why you are not experiencing the joy that you say you want. Because action is thought in physical motion, outwardly perceived. Action is thought in physical motion, outwardly perceived. Mighty companions, may the course be with you.